Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be going over a 2022 GV70 Sport Prestige. First and foremost though, a huge shout out and thank you to Genesis of Sandy for giving me some time with this GV70. Check out their inventory and link below. Let's get straight into the video. Under the hood, we have a twin-turbo 3.5 liter V6 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 19 around town and then 25 on the highway, with power outputs being 375 horsepower and then 391 pound-feet of torque. Now let's go over the front end of the GV70. So first off, we've got the Genesis logo here, front and center on the top of the hood. And then I love how it kind of dips down here in the central part. And then you've got this really nice body line right there to the side. And then coming down below, we've got these full LED lights with the accent lights at the bottom and then at the top respectively. And then we actually have some fake venting right over here because it's all closed off, but it does have a parking sensor in the middle and it does look nice as an accent piece. There's another parking sensor off to the side, and then just look at this grille. From a coloration perspective, it's just absolutely beautiful. Here's kind of a closer look so you really can see just how cool that color looks. And then there's a camera right there in the center of it. And just overall, the front end of the GV70 looks fantastic. And if you guys are wondering, the reason this looks so similar to a Bentley is because the same person that basically designs the Bentleys designed this as well. And you know what? You can't go wrong with that. Now coming on the side here, we've got two 55mm tires wrapped around 21-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well. And then as for the design on the wheels, I think they look absolutely fantastic. So we've got a 5-spoke wheel here, but look at the inside portion of the spoke, just the intricate design that you have there. And you've got the gigantic Genesis brake caliper that's finished in black paint. And then you guys can see this also has pretty aggressive tires for an SUV. Notice that the fender flare has been body painted, and then we have this black piece of trim here at the bottom portion. And then look at the mirrors. We've got the white on the top, black on the bottom, all painted, which looks really nice. And then other than that, here is your full side view. And it really does look like a mini Bentley. Now let's pop here into the storage space in the back. First off, we've got our Genesis floor mats. And then look, we've got this nice metallic piece for the latch to pick this up for some extra storage space. And then other than that, you guys can see storage space back here is pretty big. It is a smaller sized SUV, but still does a good job with that. And then notice we've got our lock up here, and then we've got this to lower down the rear hatch. And that's all for the back. Now let's finish things here in the rear. So first off, notice that we've got the rails there at the top, and then you can see the panoramic sunroof. We've got these LED lights here in the back, similar in style to the lights you have in the front. And then you've got the GV70 logo, and then we have the 4-wheel drive 3.5T logo, so everyone knows that, well, you have 4-wheel drive and the bad boy engine. Parking sensors integrated into this bottom portion. And then just look at the design down there. Again, pretty interesting. I love the look of the exhaust tip coverings. I think they look fantastic. We've got a diffuser here at the bottom. And yeah, overall, the back end of this looks really good. Now let's go over the door panel here in the rear. So first off, we've got our sunshade. Beautiful leather all over the door panel with the red stitching that goes throughout. And then notice nice metallic trim for all of the touch pieces that you're going to use. And even the speakers look great. And I love this trim down below. And then here are the seats. So we've got a mix between the black leather and the Alcantara, and then a bunch of red accenting with the seat belts, and the piping and the stitching looks fantastic. Now the front seat is pushed back pretty far, but still have a good amount of legroom. And you guys can see headroom is solid as well. And then coming down below here, notice that we've got climate controls, heated seats in the back, charging ports on top of that. And this also pulls down to be some cup holders and an armrest. And then the passenger over here actually can move this seat with these controls, which all the power to you. And yeah, that's pretty much everything for the back. So let's head to the front. Now here's the door panel in the front. So again, we've got that same beautiful leather all over the door panel, and then the trim down below with all of the metallic trim over all the controls. Does have memory seats, and yeah, just love the use of materials and the design. And then here are the seats at the front. So again, full leather with the Alcantara there in the center. Looks really nice. The nice red piping, all of your controls there on the side of the seat. And then the pedals just down below. And we've got that for the hatch. parking brake, hill descent control, stability control, and then we've got that for the steering wheel. And there's one more look before we pop in. So let's start off with the steering wheel. We've got really nice leather wrapped around the entire steering wheel. We've got smoother leather at the top and at the bottom with red contrast and stitching. Perforated leather here on the sides so you get a little bit of a better grip. Really nice paddle shifters there on the back. Even the airbag cover has nice leather and stitching all around. We've got our voice command phone controls on one side. We've got your cruise control on the other side with the steering assistance. Car basically drives itself. We've got the pages button as well. We've got the stalk there for the lights and turn signal, windshield wiper stalk, and that's all for the steering wheel. So we've got the 3D gauge cluster here, and it does look weird when it starts up initially. It kind of takes a second to focus and everything, if that makes sense. But overall, I definitely like how it looks, and I can tell you right now, looking at the screen on the camera, it's not coming through onto camera. You have to see this in person to really be able to see the 3D effect. But we've got some screens here in the center you can scroll through. Gives you basic vehicle information, so nothing too crazy or groundbreaking with that section right there. And then we do have some different drive modes that we can scroll between. So notice we've got our snow mode, eco, comfort, sport, and then wait for it, Sport Plus, which turns off the stability control, and the car actually gets a little bit louder in the Sport Plus mode as well. And then you have your custom mode to go to, and yeah, that's everything for that section. Now here's the center infotainment system. First off, we're gonna go over the camera part of it. So we've got this backup camera with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel. But notice we also have the bird's eye view as well. And then if we press this icon right here, it gives us a full 360 view of the GV70. And just look how cool that is. So you guys can see we've got the G70 there in the background and then a G80 as well. And you can see all of those, and we can literally just do this full 360 view. I think that is so cool, and the graphics are really nice actually with that part of the camera system. Now if I push it back into park, then it pretty much instantly goes back, and then there is a camera button that you can press that pulls this up, and so you just press that and then that'll pull up the same little setting. So go into reverse or press the camera button and it takes you to the same screen. Now the infotainment system itself is controlled via two formats. So we've got the dial that you can go through everything, which is really responsive, works great, but it also is a touchscreen, and response time with the touchscreen itself is fantastic. So for example, we can go to the navigation right here, and you guys can see as soon as I press the screen, I mean, response time is literally instantaneous. But we've got shortcut buttons here at the bottom, so we can go back to the home screen if we want. And the most important thing, this has the sounds of nature. That's all you really need, trust me. Fireplace sound, that is the way to go. But notice we've got all of the different settings here for the seats themselves, which it's nice that it actually comes with just all these different settings that you can actually go through here in the infotainment system. Obviously they're on the side of the seats too, but it's cool that you have the controls here in the infotainment system, but then you also have them on the side of the seat. So they're kind of doubling down with controls on a lot of things here with the GV70. But that's pretty much everything for the center screen. Okay, I lied. There's one more thing. This also does come with massaging seats. So you guys can see we've got the different massaging motions. One of those controls you guys saw on the side of the seat is the massage function. You just press that, turns on the massaging seat, and that's all. If you guys have been watching my videos for a while, you know that I'm huge into small design details, and this is something I love. So notice we've got the stitching that goes all across the dash, and notice that it connects there with the stitching there in the door panel. But then on top of that, we have this metallic trim that goes into the vent all the way across the dash. So not all of it is actual venting. So you've got venting here in the center, dead spot, and then venting there on the side. But the metallic trim continues all the way around the gauge cluster and then goes to this door. Like, that is beautiful attention to detail. But yeah, leather wrap dash, but not just any leather wrap dash, really nice leather wrap dash that has cool design details. We've got our stop start button right here, and then this is kind of like our little climate control section. Sorry, it's super bright outside, so it doesn't really want to focus in on it. There you go. You've got the dual zone here for the front, and then you've got heated and cooled seats. The control for that is just right there. And then you've got some shortcut buttons here for the infotainment system itself. Pretty standard stuff. And then down here we've got our drive mode select with the camera button, and then the parking sensors. And then this is like the analog controls to the infotainment system, so like the volume, for example. And then this is the dial that lets you go through the different screens. Pretty easy to use, and definitely nice material with like the crystal on it. I definitely love that. And then we have the shifter again with more crystal. Looks fantastic. Actuation on it is great. And then we've got some cup holders right here. Wireless phone charger is under this little thing, and then also some USBs. So there's kind of a look at all of that, but then you can just cover that up if you don't want to see it. Another nice design piece, and hopefully that'll kind of pop onto the camera. We've got more nice trim down there, and yeah, it just looks really good. And opening up the center console, you can see storage space is great. We've got nice red stitching there, and then notice that it all connects with the stitching. And then coming over here to the glove box, nice glove box on a felt, and then also, again, even the red stitching here at the bottom, look at that. That connects to the door panel too. Good job, Genesis. Now, finishing things up top, notice that we've got a nice headliner here. Obviously, it's a luxury car, so you kind of expect that. It even continues onto the shade of the sunroof. Usually, they'll just do crappy cloth, but look, they continue the nice headliner all over, which I think is great. And then the controls to the sunroof are just right there in the center. And we get a sunglass holder, but look how nice the metallic trim is for the sunglass holder. This thing's nice. We have just the right amount of sun that there's a ton of glare on the window, so we can't really see the window sticker too well. But anyways, this one has a ton of standard equipment, but you've got the Sport Advanced package, which has been added to this, $5 grand for that, and then $4,900 for the Sport Prestige package as well, with the total MSRP being $64,045. And wait for it. Let's take it out and see how it drives. So let's talk about visibility before we set off here in the GV70. So first off, here's visibility over the hood, and now you guys can see the heads-up display. Visibility through both the mirrors. I do have blind spot monitoring, and then throughout the rest of the rear. And let's set off. We are setting off here in the GV70, and first off, let's talk about the road noise and the ride quality with the GV70. So from a ride quality perspective, definitely feels like a smaller sized luxury SUV. Has that same nice smooth ride quality that you'd expect. And let me make sure I'm in the right drive mode for this. So we're in the comfort mode right now, so that's kind of like your luxury car, or luxury SUV rather, driving. And then something I want to mention, since we're taking a turn up here, is this does have the really cool camera mirror system. So basically what it does is you've got a camera on the mirror, and it pops up here in the gauge cluster, and so it gives you that viewpoint out the blind spot, which I don't know, I think that that's a pretty cool feature, and it is for both. So when you turn on the other turn signal, the left turn signal, then it'll do the same thing, which I think is a great piece of safety technology. Yeah, definitely, it feels pretty nice and light on its feet, and it doesn't have that large feel that you get with the GV80. Obviously, it's a smaller sized SUV, but we'll pop it over into the Sport Plus mode here, and I'll just leave it in the automatic mode so that it will do its own thing. And good with the braking as well. You guys saw it had pretty big brakes, but we'll get our full-blown acceleration here. That is fast. And it holds it in a, yeah, it holds it in a pretty low gear at high RPMs. It's like it just wants to go. That is pretty cool. And it sounds good. That V6 actually sounds really good. But yeah, power is great. That is more than adequate from an acceleration standpoint. And like I said, it sounds good. That's great. I'm very impressed with that. Yeah, super torquey. Yeah, this is definitely the engine to go for if you've got the money, because that is great. And it downshifts for you. Yeah, brakes are solid. Everything's great on this. I love the feel of everything with this from a driving perspective. And we've got some twisties up here so I can kind of feel the steering with the GV70. But let's start to kind of get into summing things up while we're getting up here. And oh, those gear shifts are super, like, they're like instantaneous. So I'll pop it over into the manual mode. Yeah, it's like instant with the gear shifts. There is no lag. It sounds so good. I'm impressed. I didn't think it would sound this good. That is definitely nice. But exterior appearance, it looks fantastic. Tons of road presence. People like break their necks with any of the new Genesis with this styling. People just break their necks for these things because they look great. Interior wise, this interior is great. From a design standpoint, it is beautiful. Yeah, steering is great. It actually has a nice weighted feeling to it in this Sport Plus mode. and body control is actually really nice as well. Yeah, great overall. But continuing along, like I said, interior from a design standpoint is phenomenal. Now, if you just hold down the plus paddle, it'll throw it back in automatic mode. Materials are great. All the touch points feel great. Even the turn signal stock and everything, they've got nice metallic trim at the end that feels great. And just, they've done a fantastic job. It has great tech, great safety tech. The self-driving stuff in this is pretty good. Like the lane centering assistance, like keeps you straight in the center of the lane. It's really good. And just, yeah, it's a great luxury SUV, and it's at a really reasonable price point for everything you're getting from a performance standpoint, and then also from an interior standpoint, and with the tech as well. I can't think of anything else at this price point that I'd rather have as that's a luxury SUV. Genesis is just, they're killing it, guys. They are killing it. And so if you're looking for a luxury SUV and you haven't considered Genesis yet, what are you doing? Now that's going to sum things up for our video on this 2022 Genesis GV70. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to Genesis of Sandy for giving me some time with this GV70. Check out their inventory link below. I'll see all of you in the next video.